So I'll be trying to analyze volatility 50 again for today. So far so good. The market has been so interesting. Like we know, it is either we're going up or we're going down. It's either the market is doing a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, or lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. Like I used to tell us, I normally concern myself, start with the higher time frame, where I try to understand the true pictures of things and then how to go about some of these things and get the best trades out of them. So, without wasting much of our time, I will start the way I used to start. If you look at the monthly time frame, you see that price is actually rising. We're going up with the way it is. We have this which has formed. Let me increase this so that we can actually see it very well. Let me increase it to 4. Let me also make it a bit white. So we have this down. We have price going this way also. After coming down, we went up. So price also still came down here, formed what it formed, and we saw that as it is now, price has really broken. It has broken this place. It has broken it. This was the candle that did the work. This candle started from here down to that green candle, which is this green candle, was the one that broke this. Initially we were doing a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. You get me? Then price suddenly started. But this movement, as it is, if I take out this line, this movement was a lower high, lower low, a lower high, came back to retest this place, and it was just playing around it till it broke it again. So if you look at the market as it is, this is where we should be considering that, looking at that break I talked about. So we noticed that it was this candle, this green candle here, that actually broke it, and then price started moving up. So as it is, price did a higher low here, a higher high here, a higher low here, and then it has started going up. It has even broken this, and it has started going up. So I would go to the one thing I'm convinced about this market is that this market is now a buy market. Prices are going up, so I'll concern myself mostly buying this market instead of selling it because of this place that has been taken out by this long big candle. This long big candle here. This was where that confirmation actually happened. So I'll be looking at just this area to see where I can take trade. If you look at it very well, you see from here we had a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, and it was also taken out. It came back to retest it, and then price continued to the upside. So with this in mind, I'll go to my weekly time frame. Let me take out all the whole lines again so everything will be clear. So I'll go back to my weekly time frame and see what is happening. So price started here, went up. These are higher high, these are higher low, these are higher high, these are higher low, and this one is a higher high, so we expected to come down to maybe retest. So ordinarily I would just mark out my trend line from the two last lower high, which is this. So this is my first touch, this is my second touch. So sometime in the future, we'll be expecting price to come back to make a third touch and then continue the upward movement. But meanwhile, this particular movement is also key to something. It is also making a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. I expect price to actually come down to retest this place. So what I will do is I will go to the daily to give me the expression of what is happening. So if you look at it very well, you see we'll have a trend line drawn out marking our first point and our second point. So we'll have this, the first touch on the time on the trend line, the second touch on the trend line, and currently we are making the third touch. So what would happen here, we don't know yet. So, and I normally put my flip zone to, it is either price touches my trend line or bounces through my flip zone. So I will just, let me shade it, or let me fill it with some kind of color. So let me fill it up. So if you look at this very well, you see it is very, very clear. It is very, very clear. Price making a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, and now it is making a higher low. You get me? So price could either break out from here and go up. You get me? Or further come down a little. But the only thing there is this: we should be concerned with this point here, this 249.5625. If price continues to go down as it is expressing itself, by creating a lower high, lower low as it's going down, if it breaks here, then what it simply means is that there's a change of direction. We will now start looking for a sell. But for the fact that it is contained within this area and doesn't break this, let me put it very well, and doesn't break this particular line, this zone here, this support zone here, then technically we are still buying. You get me? So if we look at the market very well here, we'll see that there is no confirmation yet that this is going to go up. It's only bounced off the flip zone, or the trend line, as the case may be. Let's go to the 4 hours time frame to see what exactly is happening, to see if we would get a trade out of this or not. So if you see where it began from, price made a lower low, made a lower high, made another lower low, made a lower high, another lower low, a lower high, made a lower low, made a lower high. So if you look at where the market is, this is a lower low. At the moment, we are yet to break this. Until we do, we are not buying. Until we do. Price could decide to come here the way it is now and not break this resistance that is above here. What I mean is this: price might decide to stop here and not go beyond here, and then the next thing you see, it will break the neck of this and keep going down. That shows us that we are still technically selling. Let me draw a trend line to mark out the last two lower highs to show us why we are still selling. So this is the first touch, this is the second touch. We are on the third touch currently, but then we need to actually break through this particular zone here, this resistance zone here, to be able to consider this a buy. I don't know if we're getting it. We need to break. Let me put up a line so that we can use it to know the exact number. We need to actually break 3192285. We need to break this and close above it, to consider buying this market. Meanwhile, if you shrink it, you see we are still within the third touch on the trend line. So my bias is this: we might likely go this route where we retest this and then retest this, come back again here to form a double bottom, and then technically we can now start looking for that buy. It could happen this way, or we would go this direction, Let me clean out some of these things so that we'll have a clean chart. So is either we would have it this way, let's say this, what we are seeing currently, we could have it this way, maybe something of this sort, and then come back maybe to retest, maybe around here, before we can now find our way to the upside. It could happen this way. So, but by and large, I actually expect a bounce, since our monthly and our weekly is already telling us that we have broken this particular area, this particular zone here. We should technically be in a buy. This third touch on the time frame on the line I drew earlier on could actually happen sometime in the future, but for now we are going up. So coming back to the 4 hours time frame, so we can actually go this route. You get me? We can actually go this route, or in the other way around, we could continue selling, because as it is, we could actually do this, could actually go down and keep going down like that. But my own analysis, the way I see this market, is that we are expected, it's like a 90% chance that we would bounce off this zone, and then we'll find ourselves to the upside. So we can just look at this market ourselves and then adjust and do one or two things. But this is just basically how I trade. So we'll be expecting that confirmation on this particular area to see if the buyers will actually take off from there. So, but for the time being, remember, like I told us, price could technically be doing a lower high, lower low within this particular space, as long as it doesn't break 247.9486. We are technically still within range to buy anytime. It could come down a little and then go up. It could come down and touch this and still go up. So, but the thing is, once market closes below this particular support zone, then we are technically out and we should be thinking of selling. So this is the analysis on volatility 50.